C3, Connecting Coaches Cognition. It's time to get some coaching for the coach. Welcome back to another episode of C3. I'm Courtney Groskin, and I'm here with
Sandy Heiser.
Sandy, what's new in your world?
Oh, we just finished our day 8. We wrapped our first foundation seminar with cognitive coaching.
Woohoo!
We had a really nice group. It was fun to finish up with them. And then we get, a month before we go right back into our next cohort?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing. We're doing days 1, 2, we get a day off, and then 3, 4. We're just going to bang them all out in 1 week.
Fast and furious.
I'm starting to see the light at the end of the training tunnel, though.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see what it's like in terms of content acquisition when people have less time in between each of the days.
Yeah, definitely, because we're used to doing them like a month apart, and you have to do a lot of refreshing at the beginning. So, yeah, what will it look like when they just learned that yesterday?
Yeah, maybe a little bit less practice time in between, but like you said, maybe not as much of a need for review.
Yeah, totally. So as we wrap up your first season on C3, I thought we'd do a little reflecting conversation today.
Of course, appropriate.
So how do you think your first season went?
I think it went okay. You you do so much of the work, so I just kind of show up and figure out what's going on and talk to some really nice, interesting people.
It's a lot of prep, but, having a partner in this makes it all worthwhile. What are some of the favorite guests you had on the episodes?
Oh my gosh, each one of them was so different, but I really loved Joellen is coming to mind. Joellen Killian, just a lot of her, just decades of learning around what makes an effective instructional coach and what makes effective coaching. And so much of her work aligns to what we're trying to do with cognitive coaching, from fixer to empowerer,
Mm-hmm.
The other one that really stuck with me was Craig Randall from the Trust-Based Observations book, just because that's so much a part of my life in terms of being an administrator and evaluation. So his work really made me think a lot about how to make the evaluation process better for teachers.
Yeah, I think, when you look at your core values, that work Joellen does grounded in the coaching and not the fixing. And then, like you said, with Craig, with how to improve the observation process and making it more meaningful is always important.
Yeah.
What are some key learnings that you learned along the way that you want to bring forward maybe into your year next year?
Just learned a lot about the last maybe year and a half. I have not engaged as much with the just not necessarily being on as much social media, and so not engaging as much with new things and new books, new content coming out in education. So it really got me back into engaging with some of that content and some great work that people are doing right now. I feel like I used to be a lot more current with that work. So it's nice to be back in it, and it's nice to be back thinking about, I probably would not engage with AI as much if I wasn't friends with you. And so I've learned a lot about AI and just the different ways it can be enhancing our work through the whole season. So I think that was another big learning takeaway.
Yeah, so how might you marry, AI to help you stay up on that research and keep things a little current there?
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm hoping the next season will keep. That's my plan for staying current.
Well, that's the one benefit of doing this podcast, right? Is we get to talk to the people doing the research and writing the books, and we get 30 minutes of one-on-one time with them to ask all of our questions. So what better way to stay on top of the research?
Totally.
How do you think you made, sustain that focus of integration of AI and research-based practices?
Well, we're doing making some changes in how we create PD here at Skyline. We're moving from a model where district folks were working with our impact teams to next year having a model where our teachers design and facilitate the PD themselves based on staff interests. So I think, and was a clear interest area when our principal surveyed the staff. So I think that out of that homegrown professional development will come a lot of current issues and current research that we could use to help our students.
Yeah, that alignment's so important. It's not just one more thing added on when you kind of streamlined the goal and the focus is the same for everyone, and moving in that same direction really helps keep it at the forefront.
Yes, agreed. People are hoping for a book study. So we just have to figure out also what would be, there's so many good books out there. So what would be maybe our listeners will give us some book study suggestions.
Yeah, hit us up on LinkedIn and
Yes.
inbox us those suggestions, or when this episode goes up, comment on it and leave your book study recommendation. It's the best way to crowdsource.
Yes, please do.
Well, we can't wait to follow your journey through that book study next year on the podcast.
Yeah, it should be fun. Maybe we can get the future book, the author will have to be one of our guests.
Oh, that's a great idea. What advice would you give to a new administrator as they're listening to this and maybe starting out their journey?
Oh my gosh, a brand new we have some in the district this year, some people entering administration for the first time. And then we have also a cohort of aspiring administrators that are studying right now in St. Vrain. So I think the advice would be to, well, obviously take cognitive coaching with me and you. That's advice number one. And then I think also to really check out some of the guests we had on and dig deeper into their work this season. I mean, you've been doing this a lot longer, so I'm sure you have guests that you would recommend from many different seasons. But just from the season alone, I think a new administrator could get some really great advice and tips and lots of places to jump off with either staff PD or just in their own one-on-ones with teachers.
Yeah, so try not to get bogged down in all the minutia, maybe taking some time to continue your learning to get new ideas.
Yes, also go to Teach to Reach, register.
Yeah, Teach to Reach is one day this year, and I know registration is ticking up. So if you want your spot, be sure to get in on Teach to Reach.
Yes.
Well, Sandy, I appreciate you taking the time to reflect on your first season with C3. It's been a pleasure having you, and we're glad you'll be returning in the fall. And for our listeners, be sure to listen back in September. We'll be back with a brand new episode.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you to all our amazing guests who took the time to be on C3 this season. And for our listeners, we'll be back the first Thursday in September. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on social media. Thanks for listening to another season of C3.